Hello, everyone. This is your instructor, Mrs. O'Keefe, or Professor O'Keefe is fine, and I'm going to give you an introduction to the class. So each week I will be recording a video where I just go over the module and the assignments that are in the module. Usually they're fairly short, but it does give me a chance to communicate with students and talk a little bit more about the assignments themselves. Often students will look at a module content and have questions, and then they watch the video and I end up answering the questions that they might have. I also give you some tips for completing the assignments so that you don't make them too difficult for yourself, or I can kind of explain it in just a little bit of a different way so that you're making it less complicated and it might make more sense to you. So I'm going to start off with Module 1. We have 16 modules in this class, one module per week, and so you'll see that we're going through it pretty quickly, but that each module has a lot fewer assignments than some of your other classes might have. And so I just want to show you some of the important stuff for our class. So first off, your home page here, the introduction to the class. I have my contact information down here. I am working remotely this year. I was on the former Burlingame campus, so I am a full-time employee, and I do regularly check my email. Email is the best way to get a hold of me, but sometimes I have students who, for whatever reason, find texting a little bit easier for them. So I have my cell number here if you want to text me. And then I also have 2 hours during the week where I will be just having an open Zoom office hour. I'll just open it up. And so in order to join that, all you have to do is click on the link and you'll be led to that Zoom room for that hour. If you have any questions at all, if these times don't work with your schedule, you're more than welcome to email me and I will set up a different time for you, since I don't have a physical office that students can visit. The other thing I would point out is the to-do list on the side. A lot of students will just go through and click on these, and that is what they complete for that class. Don't do that because what you're missing is all the other module content. So if you just click on the title of an essay or something, you're going to miss all of the information on how to complete that essay. So make sure that you're not doing that. New announcements, I post one every week, sometimes 2 or 3 depending on the week, and a lot of due date reminders is what I'll do. Syllabus tab here, I've got the course summary is here so you can kind of see. A lot of the assignments aren't turned on yet. Those will show up in a little bit. But then the course at a glance is a good document that you can use just to keep track of the stuff that you've done in the class. I like to print mine out just to keep, by my desk or something so that I can see what's going on in the class and what I've completed. So you'll see there's a list of assignments, due dates, and point value, as well as the outcome that they cover. And so you can see why we are doing each of these assignments. And so that ties into what we're doing in the class. The other thing that you'll want is the syllabus. Obviously the syllabus, having all the policies for the class, in particular the late work policy, is something important for you to look at. Every class is going to be different. There is a new tutoring service this year and it's called Brain Fuse. I'm not going to get into it today because it's not working yet as I'm creating this video, and so I will do a tutorial on that later and show you how to use it. That's how you're going to access the online writing lab. So the other thing that you'll want is the modules button. This is where you're going to come most often. And as you can see, there is the Getting Started module. If you are new to Allen, you'll need to go through this. The first thing that you need to do is get your textbooks. We mail them to you. It doesn't cost you anything. And the books themselves have already been checked out to you. You've paid your rental fee for them. So make sure that you get your textbooks. You do need both of them. I'm going to maximize the screen here so you can see. We have Rules for Writers is our manual handbook. It's got a lot of information in it about writing, the writing process, grammar, etc. And so stuff that it's meant for you to use as a resource. We're not necessarily going to cover it in class. And then there's a whole section on MLA, which is the style that we'll be using in this class to document sources. And that's really, really important to have because you'll be doing sources for every essay, but the research paper is the biggest component of this class. The other book you have is called Practical Argument. We will be using it for several of the essays in this class, but we use it kind of more heavily at the beginning and then a little bit more at the end. And kind of the research paper, we tend to just use that Rules for Writers. You will need both textbooks. You need this book for the first essay. So you need to have this within the first couple of weeks of class, otherwise you will not be able to complete the first essay. So make sure that you get that as soon as possible. If you have any issues, contact the bookstore. You can also email me. So what's available for you to look at right now is the Academic Honesty module and the Introduction to the course. You'll notice the Introduction to the course is locked. The reason it's locked is because I want you to actually read through the academic honesty information before you get to that first module. The way that you do that is you click on each page. Obviously, you're going to be reading it, but there are just examples of different kinds of cheating versus plagiarism. One of the things I do want to point out is that we do consider the use of artificial intelligence or AI as a plagiarism, and you will be docked accordingly. You'll be treated the same as if you had copied and pasted something, so you should not be using any AI generators for this class. We take that pretty seriously in an English class. And so these are some consequences, and obviously there's more information on academic dishonesty in the syllabus for this class in particular. There's more information about how to avoid academic dishonesty, and then there are some scenarios that you can see. Another thing that I do want to point out, since this is a composition class, the use of a paper that you wrote in another class is also considered academic dishonesty. So keep that in mind. You should not be reusing papers. I expect you to write each paper for this class. So once you get through the scenarios and examples, there's more information about the Turn-in Plagiarism report as well, which is something that's turned on for your written assignments. Once you have completed all of that, then the last page is just a confirmation of understanding, and you need to mark it as done. Otherwise, that module will not be considered complete. So once you've done that, you go back to your modules. You'll see that everything has been completed, and now module 1 appears for you. So the first module is all introductory stuff. We are not getting into the first essay assignment yet, but you do have some readings out of the textbook, just an overview of argument. So if you don't get the textbooks within the first module, you should be okay. You'll just have some more reading to do in the next module. So just kind of keep in mind, you do need to get that first module read, or that first reading for the first module read. You're going to be doing a couple of introductory assignments. One of them is the beginning semester reflection email. You're setting a goal for the class. You're writing about aspects of your writing that you feel are strengths and weaknesses. Anything that you want me to know as I grade your work. It's really helpful for me to know when students are struggling with something that they struggle with just in general. So if you have a struggle with anxiety, have ADHD, something like that, or if you have, 5 kids or you work 3 jobs, that can help me to understand. Some of my students can't do any work until the weekend, so it just helps me understand your situation a little bit better. That way, when you email me with a problem, I can help you. And then the other thing that you're going to be doing, obviously, is that general introduction discussion board. Students don't always like this, but it's an easy assignment to complete, and it does help me to just remember who you are because I have so many students online. Finally, there's the academic honesty quiz that you will take. Since you've gone through the academic honesty module, it should be pretty easy to take this quiz. So this first module there's not a lot to it. There's not any real difficult assignments. We're not even starting on the first essay yet, but it is stuff that I want you to make sure that you're getting done right away. And then the second module will open up partway through the week, and you can start working on those a little bit more difficult assignments as we go through the semester. So that is the beginning of the class. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in an email, and I hope you have a great week.